You guys want to do that quick? Get the.
I'll watch it.
All right, guys, what's up? We're just going to be doing a little bit of a progress report for our channel. We started out doing a really good job. Within the first 2 weeks, Zach got his doe down on a really nice piece of public land. As we were dragging that out, a farmer drove up on us and gave us permission on about 500 acres. We went right at it. I think we had 3 days of Joe scouting it. We had 2 days of hunting it before I went out and got my first buck, as you guys saw.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
Good job.
And I like your fruit. Thank you. And then Shason went out and he got a shot at a huge buck, really beautiful buck that we called Frank. If you want to go a little bit into that.
Okay, so obviously, hopefully you guys have seen the episode about Frank. I can't remember what the date was.
It was the 1st of November.
It was the 1st, yeah, so it was a Friday. It was Friday, it was the last day of a week vacation I had to bow hunt. Me and Joe got out there early. He was filming me. Obviously, you guys saw all this in the video, and anyway, I shot the deer. Thought it was a great shot. Looking back now, I know that things, perspective-wise, weren't as accurate. When it happened, I was a lot more confident than I should have been. But what ended up happening was I shot the deer. We gave it 4 hours, I want to say, if not 5.
Yep.
We went out with high hopes, and we're going to take up the trail. Found blood right away. Right at the end of the video, you can see where the deer went into the line of evergreens right there from where he originally came from. So anyway, we picked up blood there. Followed it for, there was just a couple big spots, and they were spread out maybe 10, 15 yards. And I think there was like 3 or 4 of them. And then on the other side of the evergreens, there was an opening, and it came down to 1 drop of blood. From then on, we had no idea which direction he went, and we spent the better part, the rest of that day, probably 5-6 hours looking.
Easily, yeah.
That's why I call it Iowa. Idiots out wandering around.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we gave it everything we had. There's thick creek bottom going down a big hill. There's a bunch of wide open area. There's corn, standing corn down in there. Just some really thick stuff, and we walked through all of it, like with a fine-tooth brush. I mean, we were looking.
I think altogether we put in like 8 to 9 hours of tracking.
Yeah. And the next day I had to go back to work on the weekend, and these guys went and looked again because we were just not ready to give up on that deer.
Yeah, that was when we lost permission that day.
Yep.
Because he wanted us to get out of there for them to have a good break between us bow hunting and them shotgun hunting. So Zach and I actually went out and grabbed the cameras and stands and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I continued to look a little bit, and it's kind of crazy because all that searching and stuff, the very next day I walked into this bedding area not 100 yards away from where you shot it and kicked up a buck with like 4 does.
Exactly.
But, I mean, anyway, yeah, so
we
eventually we did find it.
Yes.
We got a clip that we'll probably put over this. It does, we know it's Frank because it's got a little scar or it had a little bit of a scab behind its shoulder.
And he got into close enough range where we could notice the split brow tine that we saw he had on trail cam pictures.
Definitely him. That's the thing, is we ended up realizing, like, okay, this deer's either laying dead somewhere or it was a bad shot, didn't make it through the shoulder blade, and the deer was fine. One of the guys ended up going back out there for a 3rd time to search. The farmer was nice enough to let us, and actually got video of the deer. I think he headed up to like 10 yards at one point. So that's a video we'll post. Anyways, it's definitely Frank.
Just turn it off.
Where the hell's the remote at?
I don't know. Just hit the button.
For the past 3 years,
But I want to watch Gordon Ramsay, dude.
Gordon Ramsay. Hell yeah.
The damn dogs. All right. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so the guy went out. He was in there to basically grid search everything the whole day because we wanted to completely rule out that deer was laying dead in there. We couldn't sleep with that at night. So within 20 minutes of him being out there, he had a buck grunting after a doe and stuff. He laid down some grass, took video, and I think he actually grunted at the deer. And it came to within like 10 yards. But anyway, you could easily see that it was Frank. All he had on him was that mark. They said a scab or whatever, and a little limp. But he was chasing does, grunting, and you can see in the video, he's totally healthy. So.
And the crazy part to me, I know it was rut in full swing, but it was, again, less than 100 yards away from where you shot.
Oh yeah,
so
right
I was just
in
stuck.
there,
I mean,
right in there.
It shows how good of an area that is.
I think that's like almost like a sanctuary.
Yeah.
Well, and the good news is, after we found it, we called the property owner. We told him, we found the deer. We didn't just like let it lay. We put every bit of effort that we could into finding him. And he said that if we call him next year, he can get us out there for bow season again. So we're looking forward to that. We think that's going to be really fun for next year. And now that we've got a little bit of history with the property, we'll be able to even set up faster than 5 days before we get something.
Hopefully we can bring that whole story of Frank and all the other bucks that we saw out there. Hopefully we can bring that story to a close.
That's the thing. He could very well be out there again next year.
Yep.
And then obviously we saw catfish, a bigger deer. And then another guy, the guy that took the video of Frank that next day, he saw another deer in there that he thought was bigger than both of them. So
a lot of high hopes.
A lot of high hopes. At the end of the whole deal, it was a really hard deal as a deer hunter. I mean, everybody dreams of shooting a deer like that. To me, when it happened, I was calm, I was collected, everything worked perfectly. It was like it was meant to be, and I was 100% confident that, I finally got this big buck I've been after for all these years. So it was a real hard thing to get over. Luckily, these guys helped me look, and we ruled out, obviously, that the deer was dead or laying somewhere, because that's your main worry. But at the end of it all, I'm young yet. You have opportunities like that come up. If you keep hunting over the years, hopefully you get another one. It's just a real tough thing to get over. Especially having shot a deer, the worst thing you want to do is wound it.
Right.
Or
we put a lot of
something
time
like
and
that.
effort into target shooting and stuff, so that way we don't make that miss by a minuscule amount and not get it down, or it suffers too long. We like to get them down right away. Try our best to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, like we already said, it kind of ends on a high note because you got some sort of closure, the whole deal, and we've got another chance to go back out there next year.
big time.
As long as he sticks to his word, hopefully that's what happens. Hopefully he doesn't change his mind.
But moving on to Joe's buck.
So when I got my buck, it was kind of just a little challenge. We wanted to put ourselves to the test. We went up to northeastern Iowa. We were under the impression we were going to be hunting some private land that hasn't been touched in 30 years. But
Did not work out.
yeah, it didn't happen that way because they were in the process of selling. We will be able to hunt that land here in the coming year, which will be really nice. But there was plenty of state land that butted up right next to it. So I drove up there, found that out. These guys came up behind me, and I told them the news, but I figured I'm up there. It's a really great area, so we might as well go ahead and put ourselves to the test, see what we can do. So it was just a 2-day deal. I did a little scouting Friday night before these guys got there. Put them in a spot that unfortunately didn't turn out to be that great for
The
them.
bird watching was phenomenal.
But throughout the day, I mean, the first day we just did an all-day sit. We didn't leave the woods except for about a half hour because we had our bunkhouses were right next to the land we were hunting on, so we had a quick and easy walk back there to get food and whatnot. So we did that. But throughout the day, I mean, we were just walking all over that. It was about 1,000 acres, and between me and Zach together and these two together, we covered a lot of that ground and figured a lot of it out. But Zach and I ended up just being in the right place, and we found a lot of sign right along the bottom face of this hillside, where we ended up eventually getting that buck the last day, or it was in the morning of the last day. So these guys, I kind of felt bad because I felt like you guys were out of the game, just sitting on the ground.
I think we felt
I
that
think
way
you
too.
were out of the bird watching.
So if you guys
game.
didn't know, if you didn't
Did
notice,
you see the foul out there?
if you didn't notice through the video, there wasn't too much of these guys on there because they were just, I mean.
That's an Eastern monarch. We had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It was fun.
There would have been a lot of this going on for you guys,
yeah,
I'm sure.
there
But,
was.
It was.
But either way. It
Almost exclusively, actually.
Yeah, you could say, yeah.
But we ended up finding a lot of sign. I'm pretty positive that wasn't the only deer out there, but we had limited time. Had we been able to stay out there for another couple of days, I'm sure we would have got at least one more down on the ground. And Luke had a doe tag, so he could have gone ahead and shot a doe, but I don't think he even saw that much.
No, but I did eat some good tag soup.
Yeah, I bet that was tasty, huh?
So,
But it just kind of made it tough for us as well that all that land was pretty, I mean, it's a lot of land, but it was all condensed down into pretty close quarters, and there was standing corn all over the place by us. So
it took down a lot.
yeah, so it kind of makes it tough to get on those deer in the rut when they can just stay in that standing corn, which has been a problem for us
Around here
too. We haven't seen much lately either because of deer staying in that corn that hasn't been taken out, thanks to the weather we've had this fall. But it was a fun weekend up there in northeastern Iowa. With that turned out to be successful, and I gave us. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it gave me a pretty good sense of accomplishment. First buck I've ever shot. First
accomplished.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Just found some great spots great vantage points.
We are going back.
Yeah. I do want to go back there because I know it's a good area to hunt.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I've been hunting some public for like 10 years and still trying to figure it out. So go up somewhere that far away, never been to, and the terrain's so much different because it's just huge hills up there.
Mm-hmm.
So to go in on 2 days on something like that and try and figure it out and get on a deer is pretty tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he said, pretty proud moment for them to not only get on a deer, but to kill a deer. Joe's first buck on camera, first bull
Especially
buck.
that mature.
Yeah, and it's an old deer, an old big beast of a deer. It was just a cool deal all around, and to be able to go up there in 2 days and get it done like that, it was something cool to be a part of.
And it was something I've never been a part of as far like as a hunting experience I haven't had, going up there and just living in the area you're gonna hunt.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never done that, and it was such a great area, and I'm really grateful to the folks that let us stay there. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was a good time.
But
Moving forward into the season, we're going to continue trying to fill our tags during bow season, and we're going to plan on party hunting for first and second shotgun season. Options really that we could go to. We got permission on a lot of different pieces of private land, and we can go to any kind of public that we would want.
Heck yeah.
we're gonna.
For late muzzleloader, none of us are going to be going because it's going to be, we're already going to have all our tags for gun season. But luckily, my cousin is going to be flying back here for Christmas, and he said we can film him for late muzzleloader. So we'll get some film for you guys during that time.
What is that, January?
Something
Was
like
that
that.
late muzzleloader?
I have no idea. I've never went.
I don't know why I'm saying because I don't know.
Yeah, I think I want to say it's January.
It should be a lot of fun for the rest of the time. Stay tuned for a bunch of slaunchers, swamp donkeys, maybe some dinks. We don't know what we're going to get into, right?
Yeah.
What's some more names?
Oats.
Toad.
A toad?
Toads.
You say toad?
A toad.
Thanks.
A toadoso.
Thanks. A totaso.
A tank.
A fucking a totaso.
Yeah, I said a toadoso. Fucking a toadoso.
But we're gonna keep on getting after it and get her done. Trying to spread it out so we can take advantage of all seasons we can get our hands on. So stay tuned.
You just wait. We'll be going squirrel hunting.
Oh yeah.
Well, some cool
We're
stuff.
doing all of it.
Hopefully coming up.
Yeah.
So.
See you later. Thanks for watching type thing or
Hey boys, if it's brown, it's down. We don't care what it is. You can't eat antlers.
Yeah. We just look for the rack.
We don't look for blood. We look for racks.
or ears.
Even if
whatever
there's
whatever
blood.
it has.
If there's blood, we just ignore it and we just look for
We
racks.
just. I found a blood trail.
That has nothing to do with it.
Shut up, commie.
It's got it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.